Hey everybody, what's up? And welcome back to the channel. For those who do not know me, my name is Evan Andrews, and here on my channel we are talking everything creative from filmmaking, videography, photography, and even graphic design. First off, I have to apologize for the mess that is my house. We are actually getting ready to move this month, and we just got our new place and we're kind of started to move. And as you can see, my wife's got hella shoes, as do I, but I have a very busy day today. I have multiple sales calls for my business and a few other things to do, including editing this video that I'm doing right now. So today's video is going to be an interesting one. We're gonna jump inside the computer and I'm gonna show you guys how you can color correct and color grade your iPhone footage when it comes out looking a little sloppy. Maybe it's overexposed, maybe it's not contrasted enough and too flat, maybe it's too contrasted and you wanna flatten it out a little bit because, you know, hey, you like that look. So you guys may remember from a couple of weeks ago the video all about mindset. If you remember, I shot that video on my iPhone due to production things that I couldn't do that morning. So I wanna show you how we went from this original footage to this look in the very end. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that all inside Adobe Premiere Pro today. So let's jump on the computer and get into it. All right, everybody, so now we're gonna jump here into the computer and I'm gonna show you how I went about color correcting and color grading my mindset video to show you how you can simply make your iPhone footage that maybe came out subpar and turn it into something that's actually pleasant to look at. So what I've done first is I've created a new sequence, a test sequence in here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag in my footage that I'm using and I'm gonna scrub to a spot that looks familiar to you guys from the last video. So as you can see, I shot this on my phone for this particular video, and the number one thing we can see is that I was wearing a white jacket and I am completely really blown out. As you can also tell from the words on my jacket, I am flipped. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna fix that flip, and then we're going to want to fix the colors and the grading on it. So the first thing that you can do to fix the flip, you wanna go to your effects panel here and you wanna type in flip. And we want to flip it horizontally, and we want to drag that on to our timeline of our clip here. And now as you can see, it's flipped and everything is now legible. So now what we want to do for the color correction and the color grading of this is we want to make sure we are in our color panel, and however you have your setup is however you have your setup. I kind of just tweaked the stock panels that came with Adobe Premiere to my liking. So what we start off with here is we start off with a Lumetri color, and what I want to do is I want to just start kind of going down the line and playing with what I need to make my adjustments. For here, I want to slightly change my color tone just a little bit. It's kind of super green in here, and I want to just blue it up just a little bit. So I'm gonna be about right in here. Let's go with this value here. As you can see, not a lot, very subtle. The next, we're gonna move down to our exposure. As I stated before, it's very overexposed, so we wanna turn that down a little bit, and I want to go with maybe a -1.5 on the exposure. And now you can see that it brought it way down. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to manipulate that to kind of bring it back up just a little bit and make it look a little more pleasing to our eye. The next thing that I wanna do is I wanna pump the contrast a little bit. So I'm gonna start off with a value of about 30 and see what that does. And that looks pretty good. I can still see back into my shadows a little bit, and everything is still kind of easy to see. Nothing's kind of flattened or anything like that to where I can't see anything. Next, we're gonna go to the highlights, and I'm gonna crank that up just a little bit. See if we can bring that back up. Yeah, that's looking pretty good there. Shadows, I'm gonna maybe do just a little bit, maybe bring out those back shadows just a hair and up here under my computer desk. For the whites, I'm going to still pull back on those a little bit because we are going to adjust them a little bit later with some curves and some further shadow highlights and midtone adjustments. So I'm gonna pull that down to about like a -8, maybe a -10 or so. And I'm gonna leave the blacks just at 0 because I don't wanna crunch them or anything. So that's what I'm gonna do for my setup there. And now I'm gonna move on to creative. And I'm just gonna make a few tweaks here. I'm gonna leave faded film at 0. I don't need to do anything for that. Because I did not use my Sony a7 III, and I did use my iPhone. Sometimes the sharpness can be manipulated by itself in the phone, and I don't want to adjust it a lot. The phone does a pretty good job at keeping things sharp, but if you know anything about the cinematic mode and everything with the new iPhone, it's not a real depth of field thing. It's kind of like a fake deal. So I'm gonna turn the sharpness up to about 5, just very little, just really to help the edges of my hoodie here and where the artificial intelligence is kind of blurring everything out. I wanna just crisp that up just a little bit. For my vibrance, I'm gonna turn this up pretty substantially because I like the colors that are in the video. It also helps with my skin just a little bit. So it doesn't do exactly what I want it to do, but if you remember from a previous video about color correction of photos, we don't want to ever turn anything all the way up just because there's nothing else that we can do beyond that. So to help that out just a little bit, which I normally don't do, is pump saturation. I'm going to turn it up from 100 to about 105, and it's just going to help the greenish colors and the colors in my skin come out just a little bit more. From here, I'm going to move on to the curves, and the curves is going to help us just a little bit more with color and contrast. I'm going to touch the overall curve, the red curve, and the green channel. I'm not gonna touch anything on the blue because the blue in this is already where I kind of want it to be. So I'm gonna ever so slightly give us just a little bit of an S curve on these couple of curve lines here. Very subtle. I'm not trying to do a lot. I don't want it to be overbearing. So just a little bit there on the overall channel. For the reds, I'm gonna bring it down here. I think that might be a little too much. Let me pump that back up here. Bring this up just a little bit. Kind of want to match it to the white one the best I can. About right there is good. And then the green channel, I'm gonna do the same thing. Click about right here. All right, that's awesome. Okay, so to move on to kind of like the final spot that I would do is I would further go into the color wheels here and further play around with the shadows, midtones, and the highlights. So what I want to do for the midtones, because I'm still a little flat and a little underexposed, I want to pull those up just a little bit here. And as you can see there, I'm brightening it up quite a bit. But what that's done is it's brightened it up and kind of flattened it out. So what I want to do is I want to bring back down my shadows just a little bit. And that's just for me and my flavor that I like to put in my videos. And for the final deal, I'm going to pump my highlights ever so slightly. Put some more contrast back into my jacket there. And that's about good. Now from here, you can check everything through your Lumetri scopes. As you can see here, I'm pretty good across the board with my scopes. My highlights are not peeking out. My shadows are peeking just a little bit. And to kind of help that, we can come back up in here and crank them up just a little bit from 5 to, let's say, 10. And it's gonna pull them up just a little bit. We can also change the black up a little bit. We can maybe add like a value of 3 to it to pull it up off of there just a little bit. And yeah, that helps the overall image there. So we went from looking like this footage here to flipping it, making it readable, and then changing it to something like this. And as you can see, it looks way better than it did before. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video all about a little bit of color correction and how to turn your iPhone footage or your cell phone footage into something that looks a lot better than it does when it comes out of your phone. If you don't do the settings in your phone the right way, you will almost 9 times out of 10 get footage that looks like this unless you're outside and kind of letting the camera do what it can at its maximum capability because of all the light that you have available. When you shoot inside on your phone and you have minimal light setups and different things, you will get footage that can look like this if you do not know what you're doing with the settings inside of your phone. I wanted to make this video again today to show you guys that we can take footage that maybe does not look the best and we can turn it into something that is visually appealing to look at. So do not get discouraged if when you get your footage into the computer and it looks like crap, it's okay because we can do stuff like this. Now there is one caveat to this, is that footage can be too far gone and everything is not fixable. So do the best that you can to be properly exposed in camera, because you can only do so much in the end. So that's one tidbit that I want to leave you with, is that do what you can in the camera first and then edit everything in post as minimal as you need to. I appreciate you guys for watching today. Make sure you go hit the like button on this video, subscribe to my channel, where every Friday we're gonna be bringing new tips, tricks, and everything creative from videography, photography, and graphic design. I now wanna take this opportunity to let you guys know in the description of this video is a link to a landing page of mine where I am giving away some free video services right now to local businesses in the Houston area. So if you are watching this and you own a business in the Houston area and you are looking for some new marketing material and ways to grow your business, then make sure you check out the description, click the link that's down there, book a call, and we can talk about how I can potentially help your business grow and scale to its full potential. Again, thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and go out, shoot some footage with your phone and bring it back, and let's see what we can turn it into. Put your results down in the comments with some screenshots, and I'd love to see what you guys got. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.